75 people on there, and you're like, man, I'm on the right track. Some people are going to go do it. You're going to have 10 exposures, 14 exposures, 18 exposures. You're going to see 82 blank squares. If you call, man, I just told my upline, oh, it's not working for me. And now I'm like, I've only exposed 18 people. How am I going to have, I just told you guys, for me, I didn't get a, a yes until number 10. Efren Tejada, I think he told me that he had, when he first got started, he showed the business to 55 people, I believe was the number, before he got one yes. No, he's a senior vice president. He has one of the largest organizations in all of ACN, and the first 55 people he showed it to said no to him. See, how many of you guys are starting to have a mindset shift? See, again, detach your emotions from the S's and the No's. Just focus on the exposures. Now, I would encourage everybody, write down everybody you've exposed. And now you have the opportunity to do a follow-up call. What did Patrick do to me? Followed up with me for a long, long time, right? For 5 years. See, what I used to always do, and what I do to this day, is every time something new and exciting, a new promotion, something new, something changes in the comp plan, I use that as a reason to go back to all the people that were on my squares and give them a follow-up call just to update them with what's going on. And here's a little follow-up script that I've always used, and especially in the beginning. So you call somebody up, let's say I'm calling my buddy Frank here. Frank, good to see you, man. So I call up Frank. Hey, Frank, it's Jeff Street. How you doing, buddy? Frank's doing good. Frank, listen, I'm just calling you to apologize to you. He's like, apologize to you? What are you talking about? I'm like, Frank, remember I had you, at my home, and you saw the presentation about that telecom and energy business? And now Frank's thinking at this point, Jeff's another person that quit on this industry. I'm glad I didn't join him. He's about to tell me it didn't work out. I'm like, I just wanted to apologize to you. You remember you saw that presentation? He's like, yeah, look, I just wanted to apologize to you because back then I didn't know the power of what I had a hold of. But let me tell you what's happened to me now. And let's say you're an ETL on this call. Maybe you got 150 points in your team. Let me tell you, that's 149 points more than most people ever thought that you were going to do. So you call somebody up and say, look, I just wanted to give you a call, wanted to apologize to you. Apologize for what? Well, listen, remember you were at my house way back when, and we saw that presentation about telecommunications and energy? Yeah, look, I wanted to apologize to you because when I showed you the business, I had no idea the power of what I actually had a hold of. But let me tell you what's happened since then. I've become what's called an executive team leader at this company. I have 149 customers now that I'm able to earn a residual income on every single month. And let me tell you this, the company is about to launch a new country later on this month. The company just came out with this huge new bonus where people can get started and get a handful of customers and make, $500-600 in their first couple weeks. And I know that circumstances sometimes change in people's life. And I just wanted to give you a follow-up call to see if you might be open to reevaluating this for yourself. And let me tell you guys this, not everybody that I've had that conversation with said, oh yeah, I want to reevaluate it. But for the people that I have that said, yep, I want to reevaluate it, I would guess, and I don't know what the exact number is, so don't quote me on this, but I would guess that somewhere around 90% of the people that agreed to take a look at it again got in. And some of those people have been my best people. Here's why. They already saw me stand the test of time. They've already seen you stand the test of time. And when they got started, they're not like, oh, I wonder if this is real or not. They're like, all right, I've seen my friend do this for however long. I know it's real. I just got to figure out how to figure it out for myself. So I would encourage everybody, see where you're at on that 100, write down everybody, and I would make a follow-up call to each and every person saying something like that. I mean, you could talk about COVID-19. You could talk about the fact that we've gone from home-based business to Zoom-based business. You can talk about the fact we used to have to drive all the time and be away from our families and buy clipboards and copies at Staples and jump on planes and all these kinds of things. And now we've got a way where you can do this online from home without ever leaving your house. Who would agree? That's a good follow-up call. Matter of fact, I'm going to share a couple stories with you here in a minute on how that's worked for me over the last couple months. So hopefully everybody gets the concept. 100 squares, track your exposures. This is the one I'm working on right now. So I'm on number 46 on my current grid. And 46 was a yes. Matter of fact, 43, 44, and 46 were all yeses. I'm heating up right now. Anybody remember NBA Jam? He's heating up. I'm heating up right now. I'm on a hot streak. So, but You know, I know that there's going to be a period where I'm going to get a bunch of no's. That's okay, because I've learned how to detach my emotions. So I just wrote down, I just went through some of my squares right before jumping on the call. And I just wrote down, I just grabbed a bunch of random ones and I just wrote down the square number and the name. So literally, guys, I'm just going to look at the name. I'm going to tell you the name, what square they were on that grid. And then again, we all learn from our experiences. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, just from the top of my head, tell you whatever I remember about that particular person and what happened. So you got to have fun. You got to make this a game. And that's what the 100 squares did for me, is it made ACN a game for me. So on this one, square number one was a guy named Joe Grimes. Now for me, for years, I've been a part of BNI. It's called Business Networking International. And I've networked with and I've met a lot of really great professionals through that particular organization. So square number one, Joe Grimes. He owned a telecom company in my BNI group. He was like, listen, come to my office. You got to tell me what the heck you actually do. So I give him the presentation. He throws his credit card across the table. He's like, sign me up. It makes sense. I'm in. Perfect. Square number one, I was 1 for 1. Now, he gets started. He has a home meeting. He has one person show up at his meeting. Then he has a second home meeting. At his second home meeting, he has one person on his confirmation list. And I remember calling the guy to do the confirmation call, and the guy's like, listen, I'll be there, but I can only stay for 15 minutes. So you got 15 minutes of my time, but I'll be there. I'm interested, but I got to go do this, this, and this. If I come, can you share it with me in 15 minutes? Guess what my answer was? Absolutely. He's the only guy that shows up. He gets there. 15 minutes later, he leaves. I went through the presentation, comes to Saturday training that week with a laundry list of questions, sits down with myself, my wife, Melissa, after the training. We go through every single question. He says, I'm in. And today he's a regional director in our organization. Now, he came from literally square number one, from a guy that literally only showed the business to 2 people ever. And presentation number 2, that one person could only show up, could only be there for 15 minutes. Now, number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all no's. Square number 6, Ed. So Ed's a guy that owns this cool like IT company. He's like this really, really smart guy. And he gets involved in the business. His other business is struggling. And we actually did a contest with Pat and Mike Mazer, where if people achieved the contest, they could go to the home office and actually spend 2 hours with Mr. Greg Provenzano. And Pat and Mike called me up there like, hey, listen, if there's one new person that came in that you think has a lot of potential, just bring, you know, even though they didn't hit it, you got permission to bring one person with you. Like, perfect. So I call up Ed and go, Ed, we're going to Concord, North Carolina. So he goes to the home office, goes on the tour of the home office. Here's Greg, has the whole vision. He's coming back. I'm going RVP. I'm going SVP. The next week, he orders himself Flash Wireless. His SIM cards come in the mail. And one of his phones doesn't port over correctly. And he quits ACN. But you know what? It was a square. It was another exposure. Am I mad? Yes. But I know I got to go on to the next square. So, you know, here's one. Number 24 in this grid is my friend Taylor. Taylor has a social media company, a social media marketing. Comes to a presentation, likes it, but says, hey, Jeff, it's not for me. No problem. Would you do me a favor? Would you try one of my services? Now, this is years ago. To this day, his family is still 4 Flash Wireless customers. Matter of fact, my wife and I both have had free cell phone service with Flash Wireless now for more than 4 years. My mom has free cell phone service. I got a bunch of family members with free cell phone service, but he was 4 of those lines just in his family. So remember, when somebody says no, always remember to ask them to become a customer. No. Number 29, my friend Billy. Fortunes in the follow-up, right? So Billy, you know, literally, I've been talking to him about ACN for 10 years. 10 years. Now, at this point, I'm living in Rhode Island, where I grew up, and there's a big thing on the news saying electricity rates are about to rise. So I call up my buddy Billy. Billy, listen, for 10 years, I've been trying to get you to do this with me. You keep saying no. Just humor me. Did you see the news? Electric rates are going up 30%. Listen, one of the products we sell is electricity. I'm coming over your house. I'll bring you breakfast. At least be my darn customer. Can you do that for me? Because it's on the news. We got to lock in your rate. He goes, come over to my house tomorrow. I'll have my home electric and my business electric bill. Perfect. Go to his house, sign him up for electricity. It took 5 minutes. He goes, that's it? That's all you do? I go, yeah. He goes, that was easy. I go, I know. And I go, you know what's really great? He goes, what's that? I go, now I get paid a residual income on your bill every month, even though it only took me 5 minutes. He goes, Well, if I change my mind and become a rep, can I get my own services back? Yep. I just checked today. Billy's about to break 2,000 customer points in his team. He was a no for 10 years, only decided to become a customer, saw the simplicity. Now he's actually about to break a couple regional directors in his team. He's about to break 2,000 points in his team. Now, the next one, we're just going to call him Optimus. Now, his name rhymes with Optimus, but I'm not going to say it just in case he ever sees this video. This is a really, really crazy one, right? So I met this guy, cold market, showed him the business, followed up with him. He's like, wow, I'm so glad you're calling me. I've been thinking about this for 5 years. I go, great. Listen, let's meet up at a coffee shop. Let me show you what's going on. So I meet up with them. I show him what's going on. He's like salivating. He's so excited. I was like, I'm going to sign up tomorrow. Okay, great. So we'll meet right back here tomorrow. Yes? Great. Okay, perfect. He comes back tomorrow. The next day, he's got his application. And I'll never forget this. He goes, I'm in. I just need one thing. You need to do one thing for me. What's that? He goes, well, I'm really struggling. And I thought he was going to be like, I need you to spot me that, again, back then it used to be $500 to join. I thought he was going to be like, I need you to spot me the $500 and I'm going to do whatever. So he's like, listen, I'm in. I'm going to bring you a lot of people. I know everybody, but I need you to let me borrow $5,000. You want me to let you borrow $5,000? I haven't seen you in 5 years. You just told me you've been excited thinking about this for 5 years. You just told me how great you're going to be. See, sometimes people say that they know everybody. Then you find out nobody knows them. So here's what's really crazy about this one. So I'm like, listen, I'm not letting you borrow $5,000. Like, look, here's my card. Once you get the money, I'll help you get out of your situation. But if you give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you'll feed him for a lifetime. I'm not just gonna, give you a fish. I'll teach you how to fish. When you're serious, let me know. Here's the crazy thing. He was so mad, right, that I didn't give him $5,000. He started apparently seeking out ACN reps, and he found a guy that would sponsor him. And I didn't know anything about this, but I get a rep alert on my phone that this guy signed up on my team underneath the guy on my team. See, he wanted to spite me because I wouldn't give him $5,000. So he wanted to sign up with ACN underneath somebody that's not me. Now, this is months later, and it ended up being in my downline anyway, and he never even got a damn customer. But it's another exposure. Let's see, number 52. So I go to my buddy's wedding, right? And he used to be in ACN, and he puts me at the table. It's me, my wife, Melissa, and this one other couple, and we're at a wedding together. And they own a real estate company, real successful. We hit it off, great people. I asked him if he wanted to look at the business. I show him the business, and not for me, really busy, blah, blah, blah. And then we've been recruiting a lot of people in the real estate world. So myself, Mike Mazer, Melissa, we were at a company's national convention for real estate called EXP. And we were there doing lunch and learns, teaching agents how they can utilize ACN to go hand in hand with the real estate company. And so we were there for a handful of days. We're doing a bunch of presentations. We're signing people up. Then I'm at the bar at night. And all of a sudden, who's next to me at the bar? But this guy, Tom, that literally was from the wedding. And he's like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm teaching agents how to create a continual revenue stream long after the transaction's over. He's like, with ACN? I go, yeah. I go, I'm doing a meeting tomorrow at lunchtime. He's like, I'm coming. He signs up. Get started. Today we're doing a meeting in his team literally tomorrow. So square number 52. Square number 64. I take my wife out to dinner for her birthday. One of my regional directors in my team, Roberta Hosky, amazing lady. I was just moving to Connecticut. I was like, Roberta, what's a great restaurant? She's like, you got to go to Barcelona. This place is great. So we go, we order our glass of wine, we get our first appetizer. It's all small plates, a really cool place, right? So we got our first glass of wine, we got a small plate, everything's great, amazing environment. Then 45 minutes later, nobody's been back to our table. Now, Melissa, I'm sure no other ladies in the line do this, but she can get a little hangry. And it's her birthday, 45 minutes, and there's no food coming to the table. Nobody's coming to take our order. I'm like, oh my God, my wife's birthday is about to get ruined. Then 10 minutes later, we look outside, and the waitress, who is our waitress, we see her outside in a trench coat, flicking her cigarette up against the ground, and then just walking away. I was like, I think our waitress just quit. So then I finally go up and find somebody else like, hey, is there like a manager I can talk to? Like, yeah. So the manager just comes over. I listen, like, nobody's seen us in an hour. It's my wife's birthday. Like, and he's like, great. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So it ends up being, who would agree? I could have snapped on this guy. I could have been like this, that, and the other thing. I was like, listen, like, I'm a business owner. Like, I get it. Things happen. But can you make it right for us? The rest of the night was an amazing experience. And by the end of it, he's like, listen, like, I want to know what you guys do. And my wife, she was like, listen, well, I'm not the person you need to talk to, but my husband, he's had a lot of success with telecommunications and energy, and he mentors young individuals on how to start a business for themselves. See, never make it about you, always make it about somebody else. Does that make sense? So he's like, I want to know. So I reach out to him, I show, following up with them, nothing, crickets. How many have ever had crickets? Now, he doesn't go on the grid yet because he hasn't seen the business. Last January, we rented this incredible home. I was there with Patrick and Mike Mazer, Monica, Alejandra, Melissa, and I, and a couple other leaders. And we rented this incredible home right on the water in Miami. And I get a text message. From this guy on January 1st that says, Jeff, we met last year at my restaurant. I don't know if you remember me, but I'm looking for mentorship. So I called him right away, met him a couple days later. He got started, introduced me to a guy named Zachariah. Zachariah, 1 month last year, was the #1 executive team leader in all of North America and ASEAN. And he's got a couple of amazing people in his team that are getting really close to regional director at this point. Another exposure, number 91, cold call. A real estate agent called her up. Hey, listen, who are you utilizing to help your clients get connected for services? Nobody. What if I could show you a way that you could make money doing that? Great, let's meet for coffee. So I called a ton of people with that same conversation. One said, I want to meet you. I meet her. She introduces me to her real estate mentor the next day. They both get started. They've got a great team growing. Then there is number 99, Diana Lloyd. Diana looked at the business. Absolutely not. It's not for me. I won't do network marketing, but I like you because I'll become your customer. Flash Wireless customer, refers her assistant. Flash Wireless customer. Square number 100 on that grid was a locksmith in my B&I group. Super good guy. He became my identity theft protection customer. Then 2 months later, he was like, listen, I'm a customer. I like the service. I want to learn more about what you do. He's about to hit 200 personal points for himself. Now, I could go on and on and on. I could just keep telling you guys a story. Here's a good one, Josh Hawkins. Now, I'll never forget, I'm living in Southern California. I'm pumping gas in my car, and this guy pulls up to me. He's like, nice car. I was like, I like yours too. He's like, I like yours better. I was like, oh, thanks. I appreciate it. He goes, what do you do for a living? I go, I teach people how to walk away from corporate America and live extraordinary lives. So he goes, I'm interested in learning how to do that. I go, great. Let's get together. So I meet this guy in a coffee shop, show him the presentation. He goes on the grid. He's so excited. I'll be at training. I'm definitely going to do this. I'm 100% in. As I'm talking to him, I see this other individual listening to the conversation. So the one guy leaves. I'm like, hey, listen, I saw you listen to what I was talking about. You're looking at other ways of making money, aren't you? He's like, yeah. I go, why don't you come here? I'll show you what I'm doing. He goes, perfect. So he gets in. So now I go from one presentation to another presentation. He's like, well, this is great. I'm from Mexico. You're in Mexico. I know everybody in Mexico. We're going to dominate. This is going to be great. I'll be at the Saturday training. Then I noticed this other guy way in the back of Starbucks looking at me. I'm like, hey, why don't you come here? You want to see too, right? So he comes. Now I got 3 people, all 3 that are like, I'll be at Saturday. I'm like, I'm going to show my team the speed of the leaders, the speed of the team. I walk into the Saturday training feeling proud. I'm going to have 3 personal guests today, and they're all signing up. Here I am doing the ACN shuffle. Not one of them showed up. Now here's what's crazy. All 3 exposures on the grid. Now, a year later, Melissa and I lived in had a really beautiful beach home in Newport Beach, California. We had a house right on the sand because we worked hard at this for a long, long time. And I'm sitting there, and I only tell you this so I can help you guys have a visual of this instance. So it's a Saturday night, and I'm literally sitting on my patio right next to the bike path, drinking a beer in front of my house. Sun setting, it's absolutely beautiful. It's just a majestic night. Walking down the bike path right in front of my house, this guy stops and looks at me. I look at him, he looks at me. I look at him, he looks at me, goes, you changed my life. And I'm looking at him like, you're John Hawkins from Starbucks. And I'm thinking to myself, you never even showed up at the meeting. How did I change your life? I'm thinking he signed up underneath somebody else in ACN, like Byron Nelson or something, and now he's a regional director or something. He's like, that conversation you had with me that day, it got me to think like an entrepreneur. And even though I never did your business, I ended up starting my own business. I'm having all kinds of success. And people always ask me, how did it start? He goes, this kid that I met at Starbucks. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. He goes, and we're talking, and I'm like, listen, like, he's like, what can I ever do for you? I was like, well, if you ever know anybody you think would be good at this, I'd love to have him see what I'm doing. He goes, you know what? My brother. I go, great. You know what? I'm having a meeting tomorrow night. He goes, where? I go, right here at this house, right? He goes, I'm going to be at your meeting tomorrow night. I'm bringing my brother. His brother comes. His brother signs up, comes to the training, registers for the national convention, schedules his meeting. Now, who'd agree? This has got to be the one. This has got to be the guy that's like, yep, here was my RVP. Who's thinking that? Instead, after all that, the guy has one meeting and he quits. It's another exposure, another square on the grid. It's another story. You know, I remember I went to the Tony Robbins event, right? Unleash the Power Within. And I met this gal at the Tony Robbins event, square number 20, Cara DeOnda. And Cara, you know, we talked, we had a great connection. She was successful in real estate. And for 4 years, I followed up with her. And then one day I sent her a message. I go, look, what do I need to show you that this business can do for you to at least take a look at it? And finally, she, all right, fine, you got me. She comes to the meeting, signs up after 4 years, has a meeting, signs a couple people up, and then I never hear from her again. Another exposure, square number 87, my high school friend, Jen Bovey. I go back to Rhode Island from California, and I see on Facebook that she's having a lot of success in real estate. And I send her a message. I go, listen, congratulations on all your success. I love seeing people win. That was my only message. I have no idea that she knows anything at all about what I do. She responds back to me the next day saying, listen, if you're ever in Rhode Island again, I'd love to have you come and speak at my real estate company's monthly meeting and tell them how you built your empire. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you knew what I did, right? So I was like, funny you say that. I'm in Rhode Island right now. She's like, can you come on Tuesday and speak to my monthly meeting? 100%. And so I go and I just talk about mindset and the principles that we learn in ACN. And she goes, at the end, you can just tell everybody lightly what you do. And anybody that wants to find out more about what you do, they'll come up to you. So afterwards, she's like, all right, I'm in. She introduces me to her number one agent. He gets started. He introduces me to a guy named Bill Simas. Bill today is a regional director of my team, and he's about to hit 300 personal customer points. Another exposure. Then, you know, back in California, the roads are a lot more friendly on your car than here in New England. So I get my car shipped over here and I'm driving like one of the first days, and I crack a rim on a pretty nice car. And so here I am on my way to a meeting, stuck on the highway, cracked rim, tow truck guy comes and picks me up. You got to turn a negative into a positive, right? So of course I got the tow truck guy's number, right? Now, he never got started, but he's an electricity customer to this day, and he's another exposure. So I got two more for you guys. You know, a couple of years ago, I put a posting out, and you know, I have this woman, Angela, who responds back to the posting, wants to know more about what I do. And I invited her to a meeting. She comes to the meeting. She's like, I like it, but you got to meet my husband. No problem. Go to her house, meet her husband, laundry list of questions, show him what's going on. They decide to both get started in the business. They schedule their first home meeting. We coach them up. We train them. We get them ready to go. Day of their first meeting, she calls me up, Jeff, I can't do this. She's got 16 people to confirm for a meeting. I three-way Mike Mazer on the call. Those of you guys who knows Mike, she hangs up on Mike Mazer. Then I call her back. I was like, listen, I'm just coming to your house. Like, you got people coming. At the end of the presentation, if you still don't want to do it, I'll help you quit and I'll help you get a refund. But I believe at the end of it, you might want to do it, and we might have a team for you. And so there's a gal that was at her house that day. As soon as the presentation ends, she comes right up to me, and here's what she says. My husband told me not to bring my checkbook, but he didn't say anything about my credit card. I'm in. And she was spot number one on the team that day. And that young lady, her name is Susie Potter. Her and her husband, Ken, are regional vice presidents in my team today. And it came from a square. But I got to save the best one for last for you guys. See, 100 squares, it doesn't just help you build your business, it can help you build your life. See, I'll never forget, I met this girl, Beth, and she was a square on my grid. I went to a national convention. They made a great announcement like they always do. I call her up, make the follow-up call, and she's like, I can't believe you're calling me right now. And I had followed up with her for months. She goes, I can't believe you're calling me right now. I go, why is that? She goes, I was just in my tub on my hands and knees praying that something was going to change in my life. And what happens? You call me. So I guess I got to go to the meeting. Great, you're coming to the meeting. Comes to the meeting, brings her husband, signs up. Has a meeting, introduces me to this girl named Jan. Jan gets started. She has a meeting, introduces me to a guy named Jesse. Now, Jesse schedules a meeting. It's the day after my birthday. I just moved into the first home that we had that I had on the water in Newport Beach, and it's the day after my birthday. My brother's there. We're barbecuing. No ACN that day. We did ACN training, taking the rest of the day off, celebrating my birthday. See, back then we didn't have Zoom. We couldn't just step aside from the barbecue, do a presentation real quick, and get back to the barbecue. Back then we used to have to drive. And I feel like, you know, my grandfather telling me you used to have to drive, you used to have to walk 5 miles to school in the snow, you know, to get to school, and now they take a bus. See, when I talk about the old home meeting ACN, pre-Zoom, I feel like my grandfather talking to me about walking to school in the snow. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Like, you guys have no idea, those of you that knew, how great we have it right now, how awesome this is. This is the future of our business. But back then, this particular meeting was a good one that it used to be in a living room. Because here's why. So I had this meeting covered. Somebody's doing the presentation for me. My brother and I were literally looking at the waves crash. We're barbecuing on the grill, board shorts, flip-flops, drinking Coronas. Life is awesome. And as I'm looking at the ocean, I hear Greg Provenzano in the back of my head saying that it's the extra 5% that most people will never do is what gets you where you want to be in life. And I'm like, crap, I got to do this meeting. I go to my brother, I say, I got to do this meeting. He goes, how far is it from here? It's an hour. When is it? It's an hour and 5 minutes from now. He goes, you get a shower? I go, I don't have time. I'm going to throw on a dress shirt, some jeans, and I'm just going to go. He's like, you're crazy. Crazy people make crazy money, right? So I go to this meeting and I walk in and I see this young lady there. I'm like, man, this girl's really pretty. Oh, I can't look at her. I like can't mix business and pleasure. Like can't look at her, focus on everybody else, not her. And during the presentation, who's the most positive person in the room? That young lady. And as I keep surveying the room, she's like interested in taking notes. I'm like, oh man, now I got to go talk to her at the end of the meeting. And that young lady signed up in ACN that day. She disappeared from ACN for a couple months, went to a national convention. And today that young lady is the love of my life, Melissa Street. I believe one of the greatest leaders in all of ACN, but Melissa Street was somebody that I met from somebody that was a square that I followed up with over and 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 over again. And guys, it's just all a journey. See, hopefully everybody was able to take some value, you know, out of this here tonight. I love training this topic because it's how I built my business, and I continue to build it that way to this day. I was looking at my grid earlier on today. I was like, I got three out of the last 4 have signed up. Like, man, like I got to talk to more people. I need more no's. I got to, you know, I'm going to share one more story with you guys just because it's the last person, the most recent person that got started in my team. And I just did a meeting for him right before this one and got his first business partner started. He was in my team 14 years ago. He was one of the first 100 reps in my team. Matter of fact, he got started when I still had my cell phone store. And we were at this lake house this last week and we went to Niagara Falls for the day. And my wife is awesome at social media, always posting where we're going. Me, not so awesome at it. But so my wife posts beautiful pictures from Niagara Falls. And my friend Jeff messaged me like, what the heck are you doing? Like, you're 30 minutes away from my house. Like, what are you doing up here? So I call him right away. And I was like, listen, you'll never believe what's going on with ACN right now. He goes, tell me, go, what if you were able to build your business and he owns a successful company? And I go, what if it didn't take away from what you were doing? What if you could truly build it part-time? What if one night for 30 minutes, you could just get on a webinar and that was your presentation instead of driving all over the place? What if you didn't have to go get clipboards? What if you didn't have to get copies at Staples? What if there was a way that you could have no territorial restrictions? We could connect people from everywhere and I could do presentations for you from my home in Connecticut to your house in Buffalo. is that anything you'd be open-minded about taking another look for? He goes, what are you talking about? I go, I'm doing a webinar in 2 hours. Can you be on? He goes, I'll be on. So he went on the webinar, went to training that night, got started. He's square number 46 on my grid. But here's the craziest part. As he was signing up, I'm going to leave you guys with this. As he was signing up, I go, what's your email address? He goes, ACN 7th level at yahoo.com. I go, what? I go, did you just make that up? He goes, Jeff, I've had that email address for the last 12 or 13 or 14 years, however long it's been. And I always wanted to make this business work for myself. I just never saw a way that it could actually work for me with everything that's gone in my life until you showed me what you just showed me today. I go, bro, let's finish what we started. And here we are. So Mr. Nelson, hope that I just kind of rambled and was telling all kinds of stories, but
no rambling.
Hope that everybody got something out of this, man. My pleasure.
That was freaking awesome. I'm getting text messages blowing up. I mean, we maxed out at 300. People couldn't even get on the call. I have at least 100 people that are like, how come I can't get on the call? I'm like, because it only goes to 300. Like, it was awesome. Thank you. And I would be remiss. I want to be done in 7 minutes for a specific reason, but I would be remiss. I wanted to have 2 testimonials, and it'll make sense if you can indulge me in 7 minutes. I would be remiss if I didn't, and my grandmother taught me this, and only an egomaniac and an arrogant ass would miss this conversation and disagree with me. My grandmother taught me, she would say, behind every great man is a better woman, not a great woman, a better woman, better than the man. And I don't know who agrees with that, but I would be remiss to not have Melissa come on and share just like 2 minutes, because I'm gonna have her come on and do her own training. She's a beast. I've had blessings of having conversation with her. You understand why they're number 1 and 2 all the time. You got 2 yin and yangs that are killing the game, that just merge with the most perfect, like he said, it's a match made in heaven. So Melissa, if you would indulge me, you have co-host privileges just to come on and give just a 1 to 2 minute testimonial so I can bring you back on another day, please.
Mr. Byron Nelson, I totally enjoyed just sitting back, relaxing, taking notes, enjoying all this with everyone. I had the night off. What are you talking about? I clocked out at 10 o'clock. I'm done. I'm just kidding. But you guys, that was awesome. I've heard, I get to live it, a lot of those stories. To this day, Jeff lives and breathes the 100 squares. It is tried and true. I get to live it. I've heard all the former stories. I actually came from a square, so love isn't always in the shape of a heart. Sometimes it's a square. But you guys, you know, what he just shared there, if you really, really take it serious, if you really apply what he just shared with you, your business will go through the roof. Because it's not just about, it's not just about signing reps up. You guys, the ACN's not just about signing people up. It's not about just getting customers. It's really about building something incredible long-term, and just being passionate about what ACN has to offer. And later on down the road, if someone doesn't start now, if you do the proper follow-up, if you genuinely call people up to give them your progress report, share with them the latest updates about ACN. ACN is here to stay. ACN has an incredible future for all of us. I believe that it's not, if it's not now, it's later on. Like, people will, I believe everyone will get started at some way, in some way, shape, or form. But if you apply what he just shared with you guys, you can completely shift your ACN business. You know, if you just genuinely share the opportunity with people. If they say no, take what he just shared with you. Take the emotions out of this business. You know, the reason why people get caught up on the emotional roller coasters is because they can't control it. You know, you get so excited when someone says yes, but what if they say yes, they join ACN, and then they quit tomorrow? And then what? Then you're on the bottom of the roller coaster, and here we are at square one. So guys, control your emotions. You know, you can't control what your team does. You can't control what your upline does. You know, what you can control is personally exposing the opportunity. One no could mean that you're one step closer to a yes. And that yes could mean that you can completely change someone's life. ACN could be that prayer that they've been wholeheartedly praying for, that blessing that they've been looking for. And all it takes was your commitment. All it takes was your persistence. All it takes was your genuine, authentic conversation that ASEAN could be a really great opportunity for them and their family and their legacy to leave. But guys, that 100 squares, if you just have fun with this business, like we just have fun. If you look at Mr. Nelson, he's just having a ball of fun. I mean, who wouldn't want to do business with him? He's crazy. I mean, you guys got a crazy leader. I love it. But he just has so much fun in this business, and that's what people are attracted to. So I appreciate you letting me share. I appreciate you letting me watch. It's so much fun to see my husband really share about what he's really passionate about. But what we love the most is when we get to hear testimonials of how this training has changed their business. Tamara Corbin messaged me today and she's like, I just want to let you know that that was exactly what shifted my business from December of 2019 to today. That was what helped me really take advantage of what I had a hold of and really be laser focused on my business and going regional vice president. So you guys, I'm blessed to share this platform with you guys. I can't wait for us to be at a convention where we get to see each other, right? Where we get to reunite with each other and talk about the good old Zoom days. Next convention. So Mr. Nelson, thank you so much for inviting me onto this call. Really appreciate your leadership.
I'm going to set you up with a call before 10 p.m. I love you guys so much. Thank you. I have one more testimony I want you guys to hear. I want her to just share her takeaway. It's one of my babies that I've raised and watched her go from 0 to 120 in 6 seconds flat. She's been #1 in Asia Pacific. She has her team on. I helped bless that team and they blessed me. She is one of my best friends. She's one of the top vice presidents in all of Asia Pacific. If I can have Janice Patulio please come on just for a second and just share your takeaway of this training.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Mr. Nelson, bow down to you. Thank you so much for organizing that, Mr. Street. Oh, from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I'm an RVP right now, but I'm telling you right now, it feels like I'm an absolute student. I've been taking so many notes. What is my takeaway from that? Someone is looking for what you've got. I mean, I took that line and that is going up on my wall. I want to thank you so much for that amazing training. For those of you I haven't had the chance to meet, that line there really, really spoke to my heart because that was me. I was on the verge of losing my house and somebody put me on that list, just like what Mr. Street did. They called me, I saw ACN, 7.5 years later, it is covering the mortgage every single month. So my takeaway right now, I've actually already got my squares ready to go. I am so jacked up. July is, oh my goodness, it is exactly what I needed, and at an RVP level and really pushing to get to that platinum level. Oh my goodness, that is exactly what I needed. And I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart because I just got my squares ready and I'm jacked up, ready to go. But I need you guys to understand something. If you're on this call, somebody is looking for you. I was on my knees praying for something. I'd snapped my ACL as a fitness conditioning coach and I couldn't do what I normally do to provide for my babies. My husband had lost his job and I was on my knees praying for something, frustrated, crying, upset about how I was going to save the house. And because somebody had the courage to put me on that list and give me a follow-up call, it changed everything for us. So the question is, what are we going to do with that information? I'm all about getting the information, but it doesn't matter what information you and I get. If we do not take this and apply it, put some action behind it, I'm coming back here and we're having this conversation. These squares, these 100 squares are going to be covered and done. And I'm excited about where we're going. So thank you so much, Mr. Nelson, for everything that you do for us and our family. We love you. We miss you. We cannot wait to have you back. Take care, guys. Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Street. Amazing. Thank you.
I love you. I've taken more notes, Jeff and Melissa. And it's one of those things where literally I do not believe in, especially coming from my background. It's kind of like, it's like if you understand who Whitney Houston is, for those that understand who Whitney Houston is, you don't go up and sing after Whitney Houston. That's just called stupid, because no matter what I say, I don't want to saturate. I want you to take 110% of what Mr. Street just gave you and burn it like a tattoo on the side of your brain. I don't want anything else to be said. I will leave you with 2 announcements. If you have a pen and paper, I want to share the screen. And every woman that's on this call should jump on this call right now. Well, indulge me in 30 seconds with Chanel Burt. So I'm gonna read off the numbers so you have it. If you have the luxury of time, and since you're all at home, you need to find the luxury of time. 390-1746-069. I'll say it again. 390-1746-069 is the Zoom call going on for women only, and that's why I want to shut this down so every woman can get on that. Lakeisha, as well as Tamara, as well as Chanel Burt, are going to grace us with the conversation of how they applied Mr. Street and Melissa's application on next Monday's call. And I suggest you get on early, because obviously there's no room and no space, and I'm not buying no more space. I wish I could charge for each seat and just have it sold out, because on this call in itself, I would have made a grip. But they're going to actually edify and share how they took what Melissa and Jeff just did and share how they did it and utilized it in COVID time. And they're both going to be on the call right now for every woman that can get on that call. So all I'm going to say is keep this link. Anyone that is part of our organization, which is everyone, no, I'm on Sunday presentation, the same link at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9. And on Monday, the training. And if you guys know this is the first and my team knows where I am, you'll understand why the #1 law is to get yourself out of the way and let a beast get in there. What we're about to do over the next 30 days is unprecedented across the board. And we're doing it as one family, one team, one umbrella. And what ASEAN has to offer, combining rock stars, combining coalition, combining everything underneath the matrix, everything that we do is going to be tied in, and everybody gets paid. Nobody eats till everybody eats is our philosophy. And that is just the true unselfishness of what Jeff just shared with us. So on behalf of our entire family and everybody that's on here, Jeff, I love you. If I can have you back to launch my August, and I'm gonna call Melissa, get her to just take me through the rest of July, I would so appreciate it, and I'll reach out to you. God bless, and thank each and every one of you. Ladies, jump on that call immediately, and please listen to what Janice just said. All this information doesn't mean jack if you do not apply it. There will never be a time to truly execute the SVP COC call we had today. I'm telling you, we are primed. I don't care what noise is in your head. Get rid of it and take this information and run like hell. The devil is in the distractions. Get rid of anything other than putting your head down and jamming this thing up to a whole nother level of production. I love you guys. God bless. Have an amazing evening.
She was my heart, I don't know the drive or the fall, but by default, she don't think of me. I thought she wasn't really